गीत गाता हूँ मैं, गुनगुनाता हूँ मैंने हंसने का वादा किया था कभी, इसलिए अब सदा मुस्कुराता हूँ मैं. Hi, good morning, or whatever it is, wherever you are. I was just thinking about the Taiwan markets, and when I say markets, I mean the early morning markets, where I see a lot of colorful faces. Sometimes there are these Thursday night markets, and they have lovely food. Taiwan is a simple place. The first time I came to Taiwan was when I traveled around the world the first time, right? And as I was coming out of LAX, which is Los Angeles airport, and I landed on this small Taiwan airport. And it was a long trip, maybe one of the longest trips I've had, maybe 10 hours. And because it was called China, I knew that there was one China which had a lot of freedom. So there was this small cute airport, and I was like, where am I? And if you come to the Taiwanese airport the first time, it's very cute, and that's what defines Taiwan. It's small, it's cute, it's happy, it's friendly, it's sweet. Okay? So the first time I came to Taiwan, I just tried to log into Facebook and upload some pictures. And it worked. And I was shocked, I was surprised. I asked her, how come Facebook works? She says, here everything works. There is no censorship. And I thought that was beautiful. And the people that I met, mostly in Chiang Mai or around the world, who were Taiwanese, there was something sweet about them. And they were also very, very pretty. And they were also exciting. But I would say the same about the Chinese people. I mean, people are people, right? I guess the common person is the same everywhere. In some countries, they are a victim, and in other countries, they are just fine. So the common man is the same everywhere. And I was very impressed by Taiwan. And then I flew into Singapore, and I knew that my holiday was over, and I went off to Australia, to Perth, to meet Maggie, someone that I loved. But I couldn't stay in Australia for long. I stayed in Perth for a month or two, but there was no real job to be had. And then I went to Sydney and I met Liana again, and we were the best of friends. So it didn't take us long to, we never were apart. She told me everything that happened to her and anything that worried her or bothered her. And we were just best of friends. That's what we were. We are, sorry. And now she's married and happy in Wellington. I'm happy for her. As one would be, really. But, as one should be. Then I went and lived in Sydney and eventually worked at the airport for a bus company. And then I also trained in a restaurant. And that was amazing. And I always promised myself that I've passed Taiwan, but I must visit Taiwan. And I met one of my best friends called Chris in a train from Bangkok to Penang. And I love those trains. I mean, there's something beautiful about these trains. I love those beds, and then they give you those fresh covers, bed sheets and blankets, and that's just heavenly. Even if the bed is too small, I like it. Thailand is very colorful, and suddenly we enter Malaysia, which has broader roads and stuff. And I was talking to Chris in a train, and the train is going on, and I was telling about this German girl that I was madly in love with, and how I needed somebody who was big and Chinese to get over her. Because I left my job in Takopa, which is a school where I was teaching. It's also the name of a town. There's a saying about small towns in Thailand that there is some black magic there, and I will not say that there is none. I refuse to say that there is none. There is something. It's not necessarily evil, but they always said that the East was very mystic, and I think Thailand was mystic. And eventually I met my friend Chris, the American guy, whom I'll be friends with for a long, long time. I was talking about Lotta, and we were talking about life and what have you. And then we met in Penang a couple of times because I was in a different backpackers, and we went and ate food. He's a big foodie and so am I. If you are a foodie, then Penang is the ultimate place. And this was told to me by a Malaysian in New Zealand, that he somehow loved Penang and the food. And Penang is the food capital of the world. In fact, Penang, along with Edinburgh and Chiang Mai, and of course London and New York. I mean, you cannot forget a city like New York or London. I mean, New York is a city where I took black and white pictures, and London is London. I mean, it all, like my friend Mohan says, it all started in London. All the buildings that we see, everything. And it's stunning. I love the red buses and what have you. Here I am in Taiwan, and I'm thinking all these thoughts as I'm walking. So I must share them with you, as you do. And then again I met him in Penang again. And we were talking, and eventually I decided that I must give Taiwan a chance, and I landed one day in Taipei. The good news is when you go to Hong Kong or Taiwan and you have a New Zealand passport, thank God for that, you get 3 months and no questions asked. And the Taiwanese are very sweet, and the Hong Kong guides are very sweet too. It's changed. Hong Kong has changed. I was told by a guy from Ahmedabad that there was a time when they were very rude, and I remember there was an old guy in Hong Kong who hit me with a stick. He was a security guard and told me to move it, and there was no reason to. There was nothing. He was just being very, very mean. But the young generation was very friendly, and a few people were shocked by his behavior. But Hong Kong used to be different. It's changing, and oh my God, now that it's going back to China, it will change much more, and that's life. So then I ended up in Taiwan, in Taipei, and I went to my first backpackers, which was a little out of town. And when I say out of town, I mean that you can take a metro and you can go there. But the girl I met there was a bit whimsical and a bit flighty and a bit immature. But sometimes that happens in Asia, where they live with their parents for a long time, and they are 25-year-olds are like children, and I guess 32-year-olds are like 23-year-olds, and they look young too. So it's not like they just act young or something. They're the Hello Kitty culture. They're the cute. They value cute over anything else, and God knows they are cute and hot, but they don't know that. So Taipei was an amazing place. I kept on walking with my backpack because I didn't get along with that girl, and I met Chris, who was going for his rounds and walks, but I still had to exchange some Taiwanese dollars. And as soon as somebody uses the word dollar, it makes our defenses rise, because we are used to spending money in baht, which is in Thailand, or rupees, or any currency. I mean, baht is a decent currency. It's not undervalued. Like, you don't have to have thousands of bahts. And it's not overvalued like Singapore dollars. Sorry. But the Taiwan currency is very near the baht. I mean, I guess that 30 Taiwan dollars would get you $1, US dollar, whereas 31 or 32 Thailand baht will get you $1. But the difference is tremendous. The people in Taiwan, I like the people in Thailand, they're lovely, but these people are slightly richer and slightly classier, and they are very natural. If you look at the houses look very modest and humble, and I think Taiwan is the biggest Chinatown in the world, the biggest Chinatown. And It's beautiful. I mean, I will eventually get you videos of temples, and of course, there are Chinese temples everywhere. But the food in Taiwan, and I'll be very honest, is slightly on the bland side. I mean, if you want to eat, go to Thailand or Malaysia. That's your place to eat. Cambodia is just a place that you go and you might feel bad because of their history. But the people are lovely. And Laos is just another Thailand, but it's an in-between stop that people go to get the visas, and then they stay over in a hostel and then, go back. So it's just a one-day affair. Because the Thai government makes you wait one day for your visa. And I guess that's their way of valuing their visa, because, they give you 1 month visa. And I think that's fair. They are just saying that don't take us for granted. And I appreciate that. But my best food will be Penang. And while I'm walking, all these stray thoughts come to me, like stray dogs in Thailand. Luckily in Taiwan, we don't have so many stray dogs. And such is life. So, thank you for listening. Have a nice day. Please, please, please subscribe. And I will just put some random thoughts and some chapters. And I guess these random thoughts are important because the chapters are going at their own slow pace. When I'm in Wellington booking my hostels, and my ex-girlfriend keeps on texting me, and a part of me still has feelings for her. That is, but in between, if I can put the snippets, we can call it chapter 2.75. That would be cool, wouldn't it?